Well, it is because of the developments in Iraq or the U.S. support for Israel that law enforcement right here in the U.S. are being warned to be on the lookout for possible suicide bombers. An intelligence bulletin from the FBI headline, Possible Suicide Bomber Indicators, was set to 18,000 law enforcement agencies across the country. Jaylene Rodriguez joins us now in the studio with more on that alert. Jaylene?
Well, local law enforcement agencies are aware of this advisory, and most officials told me today they have trained for such attacks even prior to this advisory. Stepped-up violence in the Mideast led to the FBI's advisory. Federal officials stress it is not based on any indication that the United States is facing any heightened danger of attacks. Now, this week, prior to this advisory, local law enforcement officials were trained on spotting suicide bombers. Security Solutions International in Miami, which represents the Israeli College of Security, held those seminars. The company's owner says the public can also play a major role in counter-terrorism efforts.
But I don't think it's a question of panicking the public. It's a question of making them aware. And if they can participate, if they see suspicious things, then they can really contribute and call law enforcement. Never try and do anything on their own.
Now, according to the FBI's advisory headlined Possible Suicide Indicators, it warns law enforcement officials to look out for people wearing heavy, bulky jackets on warm days, smelling of chemicals, trailing wires from their jackets, or tightly clenching their fists to hide a detonator. The FBI has stated the advisory was meant for law enforcement agencies, not to concern the public. That is the big point today. They do not want the public to be alarmed by this.
And Mr. Morgenstern founded that company that's giving advice to law enforcement agencies and officials. What kind of experience does he have to have an agency like that?
Interestingly enough, he actually lived in Israel for 20 years, where unfortunately, of course, suicide bombings are almost a daily occurrence there. So he took that experience from there and opened up the company right here in Miami about a year ago.
Interesting. Jaylene, thank you. Tony?